All right, I think we're live. Let's get right into this thing. So Rockstar Games, Booking.com, and McGraw-Hill are all in today's breach headlines, while a new warning says the quantum threat to encryption is no longer something organizations can afford to ignore. We're also covering Microsoft 0 Days, a dangerous Adobe PDF exploit, and over 100 malicious Chrome extensions stealing accounts straight from users' browsers. Welcome to Threatopia, where we break down real cyber threats, breaches, and the security patterns that actually matter. This is the cybersecurity briefing you can't afford to miss. Streaming from YouTube and all your favorite podcast platforms, I'm your host, Mike Kramer. I help security leaders build resilient security operations and modernize their defenses to reduce real-world cyber risk without the headaches. So quick note, I got a new computer, and Windows makes it really difficult to move your settings and everything to a new computer. Mac, you just tell it where you're moving to, and it just takes care of everything and moves everything. It's pretty seamless. In fact, I did that recently on a laptop to a new MacBook, and then now I have this Windows machine, and it's upgrade. I haven't done that one in a while, so it's a refresh on the Windows 11 to 11. Won't let me transfer. I looked for migration assistance, everything, and it's pretty terrible. So I'm basically reinstalling everything from scratch and manually looking for settings files for my OBS software I record this with, all my Elgato products. It's been a nightmare. So sorry about the delay, but I think we're back in business. The quality might not be so great. I just said forget it with the green screen. Got to get this news out. So bear with me, and hopefully in about a week, I'll have everything back to normal. But stay with me till the end today, because one of today's biggest takeaways is how attackers keep winning through trust. All of the trusted files, plugins, extensions, and even trusted insiders. So upcoming events, 'tis the season. We got Google Cloud Next is scheduled for April 22nd through April 24th in Las Vegas and Mandalay Bay, with a strong focus on cloud AI infrastructure and security operations. Black Hat USA returns August 1st through August 6th in Las Vegas and Mandalay Bay, focused on advanced security research, enterprise defense, and offensive tradecraft. DEF CON follows right after from August 6th to August 9th at the Las Vegas Convention Center, bringing together the hacker and research community. And looking just a bit further out, we have the Splunk.conf September 14th through the 17th in Denver, Colorado this time, which will be interesting, and CribbleCon in Chicago down the street September 28th through the 30th. These are the kinds of events that are worth watching closely for security data platform, detection engineering, and observability teams as dates finalize for the year. I think they're finalized now, so it's an old note I got to remove. One of the easiest ways to protect yourself is to stop reusing passwords and change important passwords regularly, especially for email, banking, and work accounts. If one site gets breached and you reuse that same password elsewhere, attackers can try it over multiple services and take over more of your accounts. The best way to handle this is with a password manager, so every account has a strong, unique password without you needing to remember them all. I use 1Password. I could put a link below. I don't get paid for that. I like it. Been using it for years. Syncs between Windows, Mac, mobile, all that stuff. And it's like $3 a month. So we got 20 stories today, and here are the most important cybersecurity developments. Microsoft patched 167 vulnerabilities in its April 2026 Patch Tuesday release, including 2 0 days affecting SharePoint Server and Microsoft Defender. One flaw is already being actively exploited, while the Defender bug can allow attackers to escalate privileges. Adobe issued an emergency patch for Acrobat Reader after a 0-day and malicious PDF files allowed sandbox bypass, privileged JavaScript execution, and file theft. Victims only needed to open the PDF, making this high-risk user execution attack. Rockstar Games confirmed a breach after stolen authentication tokens from an Anodot incident were used to access its Snowflake environment. Shiny Hunters leaked more than 78.6 million internal analytics records, though Rockstar says players were not impacted. Booking.com disclosed that attackers accessed some customer booking data and communications with property providers. The company reset pins and warned users that the leaked reservation details could fuel highly targeted phishing scams. More than 30 WordPress plugins in the Essential Plugin Suite were backdoored and used to compromise thousands of sites. The malicious code sat dormant for months before activating to push spam, redirects, and fake pages. Researchers found a digitally signed adware tool tied to Dragon Boss Solutions LLC that disabled antivirus on thousands of systems with system privileges. More than 23,000 infected hosts were seen across 124 countries, including education, utilities, government, and healthcare networks. Microsoft awarded $2.3 million to researchers during zero-day quest after nearly 700 submissions uncovered more than 80 high-impact cloud and AI flaws. The issues included credential exposure, SSRF chains, and cross-tenant access risks in authorized environments. CISA is urging immediate patching for a Windows task host privilege escalation flaw that is being actively exploited in attacks. The bug affects Windows 11 and Windows Server 2025 and allows attackers with low privileges to gain system access. The trucking sector is facing a surge in ransomware, extortion, and cyber-enabled cargo theft. Attackers are abusing stolen credentials, impersonating brokers, and even manipulating tracking systems to steal valuable shipments. A recent Microsoft April 2026 security update is causing some Windows Server 2025 systems to boot into BitLocker recovery mode unexpectedly. The issue appears tied to certain TPM and group policy configurations in enterprise-managed environments. Microsoft also fixed a bug that caused some Windows Server 2019 and 2022 systems to auto-upgrade to Windows Server 2025 without proper licensing. The problem created operational and licensing headaches before the upgrade offer was corrected. Microsoft rolled out new protections against malicious remote desktop files used in phishing campaigns linked to APT29. Windows now warns users and disables risky resource sharing by default to reduce credential and data theft. Kraken says it is facing an extortion attempt after insiders in support roles improperly accessed limited customer data. About 2,000 accounts were affected before access was revoked and law enforcement was brought in. Researchers uncovered more than 100 malicious Chrome Web Store extensions that steal OAuth 2 tokens, hijack sessions, deploy backdoors, and commit ad fraud. Some of these extensions can even swap Telegram accounts without the user realizing it. McGraw-Hill confirmed a breach tied to a Salesforce misconfiguration, with shiny hunters claiming responsibility and threatening extortion. The company says no sensitive or customer data was exposed, but the incident still highlights cloud configuration risk. A new warning on quantum risk says organizations need to prepare now for the eventual breakage of encryption standards like RSA and ECDSA. The big message is that post-quantum migration is not a future project anymore. It needs to become an ongoing risk management process. I've been reporting on this for a few weeks. It's going to be very scary as soon as quantum processors start hacking the crap out of everything. So researchers showed that prompt injection flaws in Microsoft Copilot and Salesforce Agentforce could exfiltrate sensitive data through public-facing forums. Both vendors patched the issue, but it reinforces how fragile AI agents can be when they treat user input as trusted instructions. Microsoft announced a $10 billion investment in Japan to expand AI infrastructure, workforce training, and cybersecurity partnerships. The move is focused on sovereign data centers, national resilience, and broader AI adoption with stronger security controls. A university-led war game in Australia showed how AI bots can manipulate online narratives and sway a simulated election. The exercise demonstrated how quickly AI-generated content can distort perception at scale. OpenAI unveiled GPT 5.4-Cyber, a model designed to help defenders identify and remediate vulnerabilities faster. The company is expanding access while also acknowledging the dual-use risk that attackers may try to repurpose advanced cyber models. On to our analysis. The biggest pattern today is trust abuse. Attackers are not always smashing through hardened perimeters anymore. They are slipping through things that users and admins are conditioned to trust. A PDF looks normal until it triggers a 0-day. A browser extension looks useful until it steals OAuth tokens. A WordPress plugin update looks routine until it delivers a backdoor. A signed adware tool looks legitimate until it disables antivirus with system privileges. That is classic trust subversion. And from a defender perspective, it maps closely to user execution, supply chain compromise, valid account abuse, and defense evasion. The second major theme is identity and token-centric compromise. We saw stolen authentication tokens used to access Rockstar's Snowflake environment, exposed reservation data at Booking.com that can be weaponized for follow-on phishing, insider misuse at Kraken, and malicious extensions stealing OAuth 2 tokens and hijacking sessions. This is exactly why identity has become the new perimeter. In MITRE attack terms, think of our good old T1078 valid accounts, token theft, session hijacking, and exfiltration over web services. The problem for defenders is that these attacks often look legitimate at first because the attacker is using real sessions, real tokens, or real access paths. That means detection has to focus on behavior, not just signatures. Things like impossible travel, unusual token reuse, odd consent grants, abnormal SaaS access patterns, suspicious browser extension activity, and user actions that don't match normal baselines. The third theme is that privilege escalation and defense impairment are still foundational. Microsoft patched actively exploited privilege escalation issues. CISA is warning about a Windows task host bug that gives attackers system privileges, and the signed adware campaign shows how quickly an attacker can move from initial foothold to turning off protections entirely. That sequence matters because once an attacker gets elevated rights and disables AV or EDR protections, the rest of the kill chain becomes much easier. Credential dumping, lateral movement, persistence, and payload delivery all become more likely. Defenders should prioritize rapid patching for privilege escalation flaws, strong application control, scheduled task and WMI monitoring, tamper protection, and telemetry that can catch whenever security controls are being modified or suppressed. And one more thing that stands out today is AI risk maturing quite quickly. Prompt injection in Copilot and Agent Force shows that AI agents are still highly vulnerable when they interpret attacker-controlled input as instructions, while the university election simulation shows how AI can amplify influence operations at scale. The lesson is simple: treat AI inputs as hostile by default, put human approval around sensitive actions, and never let an agent have broad access to sensitive systems without strong boundaries and auditing. Today's security concept is indicators of compromise, or IOCs. These are clues attackers leave behind during or after an intrusion, like malicious IP addresses, suspicious domains, file hashes, registry changes, or unusual scheduled tasks, or odd login activity. IOCs are useful because they help defenders quickly search for known signs of malicious activity across endpoints, networks, and cloud platforms. The catch is that IOCs are often short-lived, so they work best when combined with behavioral detection and broader threat hunting. And any of that threat intel with IOCs, like bad domains, IPs, emails, whatever, should be aged out, just like any risk scoring you may have in your SIM. Today's cyber landscape is a reminder that the most dangerous attacks increasingly hide inside trusted software, trusted identities, and trusted workflows. If you found this briefing valuable, please like this show because it really helps us out. Thanks for listening to Threatopia, and stay safe out there. Hopefully I'll have my green screen and all my software working for next episode, so stay tuned.